Welcome to the MacGameCast.
Hello, and welcome to MacGameCast, episode 28. I'm John Carr, aka Wempus, and with me is Adrian, Mark, and our developer guest, Olivier. How you doing, guys?
Good, you?
Awesome.
I'm super cool.
I didn't want to say a last name because I'm terrible with last names, usually. I already butchered Adrian's the last podcast, Olivier. So yeah, I just go by the first name. But yeah, so Olivier, if you could please introduce yourself and let us know who you are and what is it you do.
Yeah, sure. So hello, I'm Olivier. I'm from France, as you can hear. So I'm a producer and co-founder at Seaven Studios, a brand new indie development studio based in north of France, Lille. We started the company back in March, so it's really like 4 months ago. And today I'm here. Thank you for having me to discuss Meteor Hunter, our very first game going to be released on Mac next year.
Fantastic. So I know Mark's played Meteor Hunter. I spent a little time this morning playing it. I didn't get very far for various reasons, which Adrian knows, but Adrian hasn't gotten a chance to play it.
I tried to get it on Parallels, and Parallels wasn't working very nice with me this morning. So
yeah, I didn't have time to boot camp. I did it in Parallels. So basically, you know, the character you play, I guess I'm not entirely sure what animal it is. Is it a rat or?
It's a rat. Yeah,
Okay.
we for us it's a rat. Most of people just saw him as a mouse, which we don't have any problem with that. We didn't really think through about what's the difference between a rat and a mouse. So, so for us it's just like, yeah, okay. If you like mouse better, then it's a mouse, no problem.
You see the
Danger
debates
mouse.
now.
so why a mouse then? What's going on? He's just trying to. What is he escaping? What are we platforming through?
Yeah, well, the very first thing was that this is some sort of sequel of Funky Lab Rat, which was a game made by Itravision like 3 or 4 years ago. So the story of Seaven Studio is that we were all working together at Itravision, which did Obscure 1 and 2 and the PlayStation 2 version of Alone in the Dark. And this studio closed down back in September last year. So we were all with this project working on it together, and we thought, why not start our own studio and finishing it? So basically, we were in the studio which did Funky Lab Rat, that was like a PSN game, not very famous, 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. And Meteor Hunter is sort of a sequel, but not really, so that's why we changed the name. We kept the rat idea. At first it was like a lab rat getting superpower, like in the DC comics and this kind of stuff. So we liked the idea of having an animal getting superpowers. So that's why a rat. But everything changed around this, so that's why it's a different name, in order for people to not get confused about why is it a new studio making a sequel of a game I don't know. So we just thought, let's just make a new name for a new studio. Most people just don't know Funky Lab Rat, so yeah. That's
So when you guys get greenlit on Steam, then you guys are gonna talk to Valve and get a little Counter-Strike guy there so we can make jokes about DE rats, right? That'll put an association with the rat in there. But anyways, yeah, moving on. So
You killed it,
Actually,
Killed it.
I don't get that reference.
I don't know. I
They
think it's gonna
did
be.
a green light rat thing, but yeah.
But I'm not a CS player. I mean, I know what a DE is, but anyway. So let's talk a little bit more about Ethan Meteor Hunter. So we have a rat named Ethan, and
Yes.
he's been hit by a meteorite basically and given superpowers like the ability to slow down time, as far as I understand.
Yes, exactly. So at the beginning of the game, there's Ethan getting hit by a meteor, and then he can have this telekinesis superpower and pause time. So basically, the core gameplay of the game is that you can pause within the game and move blocks and objects around, and this helps you, of course, solving puzzles, but also getting through the levels in a very platformer way. So we at Seaven Studio, the thing is that like there's like half of the team very super fan of platformers, and the other half super fan of puzzles. So I personally hate puzzles, but I love platformers. So it's really frustrating when I have to try some part of the game. I'm just insulting all of the game designers all the time, but that means it's good game. So so yeah, so that's the main feature of what makes us different from all of the other indie puzzle platformers. You'll have like around 50 levels in 3 different worlds, and I think everybody enjoys it so far. It's not going to be the game of the year, but we think it's a very good game. So that's just the aim.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Very-
It's very well put together so far. I've enjoyed what I've played. You know,
Thank you.
being a fan of puzzles and platforming. So yeah, it seems to be a genre that's popping up more and more recently with the success of like Limbo and
Yeah.
whatnot. You know.
Yeah, I was going to say it's on my mind in general. Like, how do you keep innovating in a genre that's getting more and more populated? You know, so
Well-
I think you have a pretty unique concept going here.
Yeah.
Or like 2D physics-based
Yeah.
like platforming. That's pretty cool. And that's
Yeah, usually, yeah. When you put physics somewhere, you can have so many possibilities and so much fun. So that's one thing. But yeah, like platformers exist for maybe 30 years now,
Hmm,
with the first Mario and all. So
right.
I think main idea, well, at least for us, the main idea is having one thing different. Not like we don't want to do a revolution, but at least it's been really different. And then everything else has to be super polished and super well done, because there are so many games out there that are just not even platformers. All any games who have very different ideas, which are exciting, but then when you play the game, it's like it lacks of polish, or it just feels not right. So like or other games, there are a lot of many good ideas, but not well implemented altogether.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, they lose their emotion in the mechanic.
yeah, yeah. So that's really our politics internally, to do at least one thing right, and then everything else around it being super nice and super awesome. And then we hope that's, we don't want to be Limbo. You can start. It's not possible to start a project and say, okay, we want to be the next Limbo.
Hmm,
No.
right.
Yeah, nobody's going to be Braid or Limbo again. You have to go your own route for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
The telekinesis is a nice way of breaking that up. You know, your core function, your core gameplay mechanic is something completely different to what those two games offer anyway. So there's like you're saying, there's no comparison. You know, you have to go your own route.
Yeah.
And with you guys having like 3D animated backgrounds as well, it's,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it
We're
makes you different. You know.
We're sorry we're not doing a platformers with pixel art, which is really the fashion nowadays.
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, I like it in a few games, but the whole pixel thing can be a little overdone. So personally, like, I like the art style and graphics you're going for.
It's like really we just like 2.5D. It's really nice. You can have really depth and feeling the environment. Plus, we just have like some new music now, so it's really well working now. It's always this idea of taking things that seems simple or normal, but just making great. So when you play it, it feels different.
Yeah, I like the 2.5D as well. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, and then after the second thought of this game is that it's for really hardcore gamers. We've got like a lot of many subtle things here and there for speedrunners, for hardcore gamers about getting all of the fragments, the secret rooms and secret levels. So our example is really like Rayman. I don't know if it was popular in the US, but in France it's really popular. The Rayman Origins was really cool. But like if you want to just finish the game, then you can. But if you really want to get everything, it's so hard. But it's so rewarding. So that's kind of the path we've looking at.
I think that's
Yeah.
really nice balance.
Yeah.
Definitely reminds me a lot of kind of a combination of Rayman and Little Big Planet, which I played both of those and like both of them. I'm just curious though, because I've been watching a couple videos here trying to figure out what we got going on, and I noticed there's a section in one of these videos where you have almost like one of those slide puzzles with your physics object, and you kind of work your way through it. Is there going to be any separate subset for maybe just kind of puzzles to solve for hardcore gamers? Because I'm a huge puzzle fan. I'm just curious if you guys are going to utilize that at all.
Like you mean like a separate level just full of puzzles?
Yeah, just like challenge puzzles. Because you mentioned you're going to have speed runs, so maybe are you going to have a challenge puzzle kind of speed run?
Speed puzzle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. We really integrate all of the puzzles, even the very well. Yeah. It's tricky. There are some places like in within levels which are going to be puzzles. I think the one you're mentioning, I can see what you're expecting, and I'm thinking of one level where there is like 3 or 4 different small table where you have to move blocks all around, but there's still speedrun in it. But we don't do specific levels full of puzzles.
Okay, that's fair.
Because we wanted to do like a real like sort of adventure, don't have to do like level 1.1, 1.2, we really feel like we do prefer internally like to go through from A to Z, but that's just a choice. Maybe if we are successful, hopefully maybe we'll do some extra content for free and integrate that if more players are asking about it. We definitely can consider if we have like many gamers asking about, hey, can we have that? We'll say, yeah, sure, why not?
Are you going to be having leaderboards or anything like that, for how quickly you can get through levels and stuff?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Cool.
Well, so the game is going to be on Mac obviously next year, but on PC this summer, and then PS3. So PS3 is going to be with leaderboards, and PC is going to be with it if we get on Steam, because having your own leaderboards means you have to have your own servers, and we don't know how to do that because we are network engineers. So not put it there, but that's definitely that's just a technical problem. If we find an easy solution, we'll do it. But we've looked at it like for our own version, because we are going to sell the game through our website using the Humble store. Yeah. So for this version, there's not going to be, unfortunately, leaderboards, but definitely for the PS3. And once we are on Steam, then yeah, definitely, of course.
Cool.
So everybody greenlight this.
Yes, please.
Get a green light.
You guys have plans if you get on Steam to do some achievements too? Steam achievements.
Yeah, sure.
The new
Everything. Yeah. Like we're not using Steam as a business thing, but really
obviously.
Thing. Yeah, well, of course we're running a business, and having Steam is a secure thing, business side, but. As I said, the leaderboard example is really a good one because we cannot easily do leaderboards without Steam. Achievements are going to be inside the game. We're a bit watching about what's happening now with the cards. And all of the services that Steam offer are really all great. We're all gamers and fan of Steam, so if we can do cloud support, we will.
Cool.
So. it doesn't take so much time. We really focus on the gamers. Being indie for us, that's one of the thing is about getting closer to the players, and we are players. And when we see one game just getting on Steam and not having leaderboard support or achievement, we're like, what's the point on being on Steam? I can just buy your game anywhere else and not having this service. If I'm buying games on Steam, it's about Steam too, about the Steam
utilizing the
service all
features
around.
Steam offers.
Yeah, exactly. So if I'm buying your game on Steam, then I want these services. So for us, it just makes sense. Just like the ability of changing the resolution, of being in Windows mode or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Because me and Adrian were talking about this the other day. We were saying about like how Steam's evolved and with the achievement side of things. So if you put achievements into your game, me and Adrian were both saying like we're completionists. We have to get as many of those achievements as possible, so that'll keep us coming back time and time again. As silly as that sounds, that's why we've racked up so much time on like Borderlands and things like that. You know.
Yeah,
it's an addiction.
Yeah,
it's a never-ending quest.
Yeah. You can really update your game like on the fly within 24 hours. So it's like we're playing the game and then we thought, we can do this achievement. It could be so cool. And then like 3 days after it's in. So, that could be a good way of keep challenging the community of playing the game. Because every day when we're really like in beta phase. So we just heavily play testing the game every single day. So sometimes we do some silly things that happen once in a while, and we saw, if you could do that, like this would be an amazing achievement. And then the programmers just look at you like, no, dude, no, don't make us do that, please. And at some point, you have to do, okay, let's do 30 achievements and just stick to that because this is an endless task.
Mm-hmm. It's all about cutting your cloth accordingly. You only have so many people,
Yeah.
So I have to ask, because I know when a lot of developers go through their beta testing and they are playing the game over and over again, has the game stayed consistent for you, or are you guys getting tired of playing it over and over again?
Well,
not to say anything bad about the game, because obviously any game you play over and over, you're going to get tired of. So I'm just curious.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, at the moment, it's good because we're still tweaking a bit of things here and there in art, in sound, so and a bit in level design too. Very small things that do change the experience. So now it's okay because it's like playing a bit of a new game each time. But yeah, I'm kidding. Just after Rest, I was so sick of all of the levels. Because I was playing everybody all day, playing the same way on the same levels, getting stuck at the same place all the time.
Yeah,
just at
you
some
have to
point,
describe what to do every time.
Yeah, exactly. But that's a good thing because in the end of the day, you just know what you have to change where and when. So because you've seen like 90% of people not finding out this or that. For example, I'm sure you did it. Everybody did it. Like we implemented when you press B, it canceled the pause. We thought that would be a service for the gamers, and it turns out at Res that everybody was pressing B to validate and finish their pause, and it was just they were just like, oh man, no, that was X button. I should have paused. I should have pressed. So we thought, okay, then maybe we shouldn't do a cancel pause instantly, but we just did something like you have to press B 2 or 3 seconds to really cancel the game. So this is all of the little things we're doing now, but no, not getting tired of it yet, but I think in a couple of weeks, yes, definitely.
That's fair. On that topic, actually, I know John was trying to play it this morning, and he was having a little bit of trouble figuring out your guys' controls. What are you guys trying to be a strictly controller base, or are you gonna have a full setup when this thing's fully released to kind of modify the controls on the keyboard, whatever you want?
Yeah, it's all in already. Yeah, we had this. We didn't work enough on the keyboard and mouse support at the time of the alpha demo release, but now you can actually on the fly within the game choose between the keyboard or the controller, you can rebind any way you want. So if you want to play this way, then just rebind your keyboard and it works. You can change the mouse sensitivity. All of these things that gamers asked us, we thought, yeah, sure, we wanted to do, but we just lack of time. So
I counter that this game is to be played sitting back in your nice big comfy chair with a controller. There's the way that I would play this game, not face screen into the key with your keyboard and mouse. You two, you know.
No, I have the alpha, like you said, and all the control like hints or whatever are in controller. So that's very helpful for me. I mean, it was a bit obvious, like, you know, A and D and jump, but I honestly couldn't figure out the like pause or time mechanics or anything, so I completely got stuck at that point.
Sorry about that. We had a nasty bug, which actually, when you play keyboard, it should show you the keyboard thing, but it didn't work. We didn't know why at the time, but now we playtested that. That's an annoying part, by the way. Doing the tutorial all over and over again, like playing it with the controller, then halfway playing it with the keyboard, and then just pressing A on the keyboard and then A on the controller to see if it crashes or not. Just, you know,
your own QA testing.
Yeah. That's just like the annoying part, but you have to do it. So now it should be good. Like, we've got a press build we can send you, and now normally it should be good.
Oh, fantastic! That would be good. Yeah, because I was like, okay, great. I'm gonna, I still the game, the alpha and parallels, and I wanted to get a better feel for the game before the podcast, but I got like 1 or 2 minutes in, and.
What do you think if it runs within parallels on
Yeah,
Windows?
no, it runs quite well actually, and I know it was an alpha, so I wasn't actually like concerned that this is going to be a problem. But I'm glad Adrian asked, so it's good to know.
Yeah, well, it's good news. I didn't do any optimization, so.
I figured most games, incorporate the ability to change controls, but I always ask because, as everyone knows, on my side, I'm a left-handed gamer, so I don't use the WASD. I use the directionals and the numpad and those kind of things, and quite often, especially on Mac, the numpad and the bottom set of control option command buttons just aren't particularly recognized. So that being said, how versed are you guys in the Mac platform? Do you guys use Macs a lot, or do you have someone hired there to kind of get you guys going on Mac and Linux, or how's that working?
I think I'm the only one in the team having a Mac, but we'll do it all internally next year. Once the PC and PS3 version are out, we'll focus on porting our engine into OpenGL for Mac and Linux. It should be like pretty straightforward. Once we have one, we should have the other one not too long after, hopefully. So I'm going to be the Mac guy within the team. So as I'm a producer, well, they have to listen to me, so should be good.
Yeah. Are you guys planning on having any sort of maybe beta testing from Mac users or anything of that sort?
Maybe for compatibility issues. I think we'll buy like maybe one of the latest Mac Mini or something with the latest. I don't know. I think the next one should be out by the time. So test everything from the famous 10.6.7 or 8. I can't remember the Leopard until the latest one. So and test maybe a few ones, but should be good. Hopefully. I've never heard like there would be like major compatibility issues between different OS or Mac machines. That's what Apple do nicely usually. So
well, sometimes just since the switch from Intel to like PowerCP or PC, there is some issues. I know right now I'm talking to you on a very old MacBook because I'm away from home. And it has an old XMA graphics card in it, and quite often I run into the problem where it'll meet the minimum requirements to play a game, but my card specifically is actually not supported. So there's definitely some lack of support depending on the models, but the nice thing about Mac is that there is consistency. You know what their computers have in them. It's not just whatever the user threw together, right? So
Yeah. I think the issue for the game is more about the graphic card rather than how old your Mac is. I mean, if you have like a 5 or 6 years old Macintosh, but you have a custom good graphic cards within it, then that's fine. Because this 2.5D and is really needs power. So unless like all of the pixel art games that don't need much graphics card, so that's going to be an issue. Even for us to port the game on PS3, I think we haven't started yet. But yeah, basically.
But you guys, you do have plans, sorry, for Leopard release as well, then, because I know a lot of games right now, just because of the new OpenGL, are requiring you to have Lion or Mountain Lion on them. But you guys plan to go to Leopard, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
Perfect.
I'm not a developer, but
yeah.
As producer and gamer, I'm gonna start with, as I said, the 10, 6, 8 thing, and say everything below, then just don't look at it, but everything after and this one, yes. I think this is like 98% of Mac user have 10.6.8 or and more. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Everyone's either on Leopard
safe
or
to
Lion.
start with this version, so
I know a couple people who still run Tiger, but they don't play games, so.
yeah, so that's fine. And even if we support Tiger, I think their graphic card is so out of date, it wouldn't even install.
Yeah, absolutely. That's too far back. That's the problem with Mac, though. They don't seem to die sometimes, and sometimes they need to.
Well, it's good thing for the price you pay them. It's good thing they last for a long time.
Yeah,
for sure. I was curious. I wanted to chime in and ask. I heard you say doing the QA testing was like not very fun. So I had two questions. Like, what is to you, like, what is the best thing about being an indie developer, and what is the worst thing about being an indie developer?
Well, the good thing about being an indie developer is that you don't have a boss. I mean, who likes his boss, right? So that's definitely the good thing, because it's not even about having a good or bad boss. We had all plenty of boss. It's just the waste of time you have in meetings and deciding and keeping the boss up to date and everything. So that's the good thing about being indie developer. We like 10 working in the same room. So there's no up to date, everybody knows what's going on every day on live, right? That's the good thing. The bad thing is that you don't have any money. So
like all of us.
yeah, so that's basically the annoying thing, and especially for us as we're looking to self-fund and self-publish our games, which is like kind of new within the world. There are a few on mobile and tablets. This is very common, but on computers and especially on consoles like PlayStation consoles, this is rather not very like. Not everybody's doing that. On PC, most indie developers just self-publish. This is the easiest way. But usually, there are like many indie developers was funded by Sony or by some other publisher, but then the publisher just don't do the marketing and everything. So yeah, the annoying part is that we have to learn a new job which is marketing and communication, and about managing a company. So because before we were all employees, so this is the first time we all manage a company, and it takes so much time. I don't know in any other country, but in France, like starting a company is so annoying. The thing about France loving paperworks is just true. This is true. I'm so annoyed. I'm just like, can I just give you a call and say about that and that rather than fulfilling this form which I don't understand and blah blah blah.
Right.
So yeah, so that's the annoying thing.
You guys have any crowdsourcing or maybe like a pre-order to kind of help you guys get money earlier planned out?
Not
Like maybe
yet.
an open beta? No.
No, maybe next game. Well, yeah, maybe next game. Not for this one.
Yeah.
Because for this game it's a bit special because we were building up the company at the same time as we are finishing the game. So just doing this alpha demo, planning a bit of the marketing, going to this or this event, etc. takes a lot of time. So we want to do things always right, always in a good way, not in a way like I don't know, pay $5 more and you can get this awesome art or whatever. I don't know. We just want to make things that make sense for our game and for the players who want to help us and support us. So maybe for the next game when I have a bit of time to think it through, and maybe some open beta pre-order thing. I don't know. I'm curious, by the way, to ask you as gamers. I've seen many Kickstarter or anything asking like, if you pay $10 or $15 extra, you can get your names into the credits as a supporter. Is that something cool? Is that something really people want to pay extra money, or I don't know?
I think it's cool for me anyways. It just depends where it is. Like a lot of times gamers we don't watch the end credits, and especially if you're going to throw it at the very end of the credits. But I mean, it really depends on how you incorporate it. But I mean, if there was a way to kind of just like fly by names on a list or do wall ads, like especially the big ones where it's like we'll put your character as an NPC in the game, it's definitely something that's cool. But obviously, you got to put a little more money into that because there's only so many spots.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how you guys feel. You guys
personally, I don't really care about the credit thing. I backed quite a few Kickstarters, probably 8 or 10 different games at the moment. And usually I go for around $25 tier, but on a few I went higher, like a $50 tier. But that was on things like Wasteland 2 or the Banner Saga, and where they give you like a whole bunch more, like you're getting all this like cool digital artwork and you're getting soundtracks and stuff like that. Like more of a tangible reward, so to speak, something I'm more interested in. Obviously getting a basic copy of the game, which is just on a few Kickstarters I've done that. But a few more have gone a little higher if they're offering something cool. I mean, I don't have lots of money to spend on like the really higher tiers where they give you lots of fancy stuff. But I mean, a lot of them offer like you can just do like $1 or $5, and it doesn't actually get you the game, but they'll be like, "Thanks, you've earned a spot in the credits," or like you said, some of them are also like higher. I think that's cool for a lot of people, especially like Adrian said. But also, I mean, unless I know a game has really interesting credits, like all Blizzard games, for example, because they have like all this nifty artwork and really good music, or maybe something like Borderlands 2, which happens to have really cool credit music. I'll just like relax and watch the credits. But 90% of games the credits are skipped, so I agree with what Adrian said in that they won't really be seen. So I think for me it's enough like knowing that I've helped back the project. And like that's the satisfaction. I don't really need like my name somewhere, because I'm just gonna be one name among hundreds or thousands. Like, who's to know?
That's me.
Yeah,
it's going to be thousands of people giving us money to just. Well, I hope so.
Yeah, I think on most of the Kickstarters I backed, if I went anything higher than the regular tier, it was usually it was the shirt that sold me. They had a really cool shirt design. I know on Necro and Auditorium Duet and a couple other ones I've received a really nice shirt, and it's cool because it's a Kickstarter exclusive, so nobody else is going to have it. Just like when people go to E3 or Res or whatever, they want that particular shirt because no one else is going to have it. It's kind of like a geekdom thing, right? So
yeah. Okay.
Absolutely, those kind of things are cool.
I agree. My only problem with those is the projects in which they had cool shirts. They were always like $100+ tiers, and I'm like, I'm not gonna pay like $125 just so I can get a shirt.
Yeah, well,
Try living in Canada where everything costs you $25 more shipping.
Yeah, I have a lot of Canadian friends who have that problem. But benefits. One of the benefits of living in the U.S. There may not be too many more, but anyway.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. I definitely agree with what I think it was Adrian asked. Some sort of pre-order system, not necessarily right now, but you already said moving forward. I mean, I'm saying that based on the success I've seen of other indie developers, like Introversion. I mean, obviously they're a bit bigger and more established. They've had like massive success with Prison Architect. And there's been a few other games like it was Interstellar Marines and some big space game. I forget. They're on Kickstarter, but they also had like their own self-funding on the website, and they're like millions of dollars off it. I mean, I don't think you're gonna get millions of dollars. It'd be cool if you would, but I think it's definitely an idea you should pursue. For your next game or whenever you can.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's also one thing. Like, I'm really curious about when Double's Fine going to release the game. Not that I don't trust them for doing great game. I'm just wondering. There were like thousands and thousands of people buying the game on Kickstarter. So when it's out, is there anyone left to buy it?
Exactly.
I'm sure there will be.
Absolutely.
People read reviews. Reviews will go up for the game, won't they? And then people get drawn into that. So.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people who aren't well versed in the Kickstarter world either, especially like you're mentioning Double Fine, which is a big company, so they're going to have a lot of people following that Kickstarter. But I think some of the smaller guys, like we've been talking about maybe getting an interview with Cypher Prime, and I've been talking to the people who work at Mac Gamer HQ, and they're like, Cypher who? They don't know, but they had a Kickstarter that passed, and I'm a big fan, so I helped pass it. But when that game launches, people are going to see it on Steam, and they're going to buy it. But only the real niche fans to the original actually knew about the Kickstarter. So I think that you're still going to sell a fair amount of copies, especially a lot of people are waiting nowadays for like humble bundles and those things too. They want to get like a really good deal, and a lot of times on Kickstarter you're not necessarily getting a deal, you're paying full price, but you're making this game happen. So
yeah, because that's the thing with all of this. It's like really early pre-orders, because the thing about Seaven Studios is that we plan on using the money we make with Ethan to self-fund the next game. So basically, we're using this project to do the next one. But when you're doing like a Kickstarter or crowdfunding, anything, you're just asking people to pay in advance for a game they haven't made. So when the game is out, you still need to fund the next game, right? So are you going to do a Kickstarter again? I mean, you know what I mean. So that's really, I don't know, I'm really curious. It's pretty new. It's been like only a year or something, so pretty curious on how all of these things go, especially if one major Kickstarter success just fail. How bad is it going to be for Kickstarter?
Well, I know there's been a couple games that have already kind of been Kickstarted and failed, so I don't think there's too much worried there. But on that note, Double Fine did just pass their second Kickstarter, and it made a bunch of money too, right? Massive Chalice. So they keep on rolling. So yeah, I mean, even if you don't have money for your next game, just kickstart another one, because once you release a good Kickstarter.
Well, hopefully, if it's viable on the long term, then I'm super happy for that. Yeah, I'm just with every new thing, and testing new thing when it's your money, that's fine. About video games or etc. But when you're taking people's money, I'm a bit less like creative or anything about making new things. I don't know.
Absolutely, you just have integrity. That's not a bad thing.
It's some people's money, so you have to be extra careful with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've discussed Kickstarter on the show a number of times before, but it's always interesting to revisit it because there's always new projects going on and new games and things, and Kickstarter, like the whole phenomenon is continuing. I've spent a lot of time researching it, observing it, getting opinions, but mostly just looking at it myself. I mean, I noticed they added something now to like the Kickstarter template at the bottom. It's like risks and challenges, and you have to fill it out. Like, what's the
Yeah.
possible risk of backing this project? Like, the
Mhm.
developer, well, they're supposed to be upfront about why the game might not happen or why the game could be delayed. You know, for the most part, a lot of, you know, the Kickstarter games, like the more bigger names, are still in production, but a number of smaller ones have either been released or at least they've been released in some form. I mean, I don't really know which ones have failed per se, like Adrian said, though I'm sure there's a few of them out there. But for example, the Leisure Suit Larry remake just got released on Steam. Like, that was a Kickstarter project. I mean, something like the Banner Saga's been out quite a while in its multiplayer form. Single player game's still coming. And there's other ones which have various, you know, I'm following, but they have development updates and everything through email and Kickstarter, so they're going on. And I think in, you know, the next 6 to 12 months, we're going to see like a big surge, at least hopefully, of all these like Kickstarter releases that were backed in, you know, the last year, like all in 2012 basically. So it'll be interesting to see, like Olivier, you said, well, you have all these, you know, gamers or people backing this project. Well, who else is going to buy your project? I mean, okay, if you're a big name company, that may not be a problem. And I think if you're a smaller company with a very niche either idea or game, or maybe you're some older, you know, game or whatever that you're redoing and you have all these fans backing it, I think it's a very valid concern. Well, who else will buy my game given basically everyone's already bought it? But then we have to release it and also make money, hopefully. Adrian was saying, of course, there's people who aren't aware of it, and people will still buy it, like Auditorium, Duet. I mean, I saw that Kickstarter, I just didn't remember the studio name, Cypher Prime. But I think, you know, it's a bit of a gamble. I think the whole process is a gamble. You know, you're paying hard-earned money for someone to develop a game they haven't even made yet, and then they have to make it and then release it, and then other people have to buy it. So it's very interesting, really, to see how it all works out.
Yeah, the for me, like we were talking about, what's annoying about being indie developer is the Kickstarter process. The Kickstarter campaign is exactly like a Greenlight campaign, is exactly like any campaign. You have to sell your game to people. On Kickstarter, they're giving you money. On Greenlight, they're giving you yes, etc. So the big issue for us at the moment, apparently we have a game that people do enjoy. There were like maybe 95% of people who played it at rest would say that this is a really good game. A few even say this is the best game I've played in here, so this is really huge. But on the other hand, there's like no bigger website, no very big website talked about us. They don't know us, they have no idea who we are, and it's really hard getting noticed. So that's something, if you do a Kickstarter, a Greenlight, if you don't have like this kick-ass video of 3 minutes showing 2.5 minutes of just art or an awesome concept or whatever, then you're a bit doomed, you know?
Right.
So all of the like small and medium-sized websites, we have very good contact, very good discussion with all of them. It's all nice and all, but all of the big ones, it's just about Call of Duty and etc. So this is so annoying when you see. I don't know if I should say that, but the Rest thing was made by Eurogamer and Rock Paper Shotgun, and I don't remember talking to any of these guys on the show.
But they spoke to Space Hulk, guys. They speaking to Space Hulk, so it's
I spoke to someone else. You know, there were two other guys from the team, but I didn't notice them, and they were like, I didn't see many articles on the other games. I've played other games on the show that were so good. Velocity on Vita is excellent. Trash TV in the left field is really good too, but it was like, yeah, sorry, you're being hunted, and Outland Miami 2, you know, all of these games we already know about.
So why should they like keep getting all the attention when everyone basically knows who they are?
I don't know. I'm not making lessons or lecturing anyone. I'm just talking about a bit of my frustration. You know, you arrive at Res, there's like this huge Ubisoft stand. You're like, okay, this should be a PC indie games. and then all of the small media attention you get is about games that are already known by everybody. So yeah, it's cool to play them. I really enjoy playing all of these games as a gamer, but as a marketer and starting my company, living on my savings and having a good game is so frustrating for me to not grab someone and say, "Hey, I know you don't know me, but please just play my game." So that was a bit of the problem for me, and that's the problem of a Kickstarter. If you're not like Double Fine or Notch or whatever big names, it's really hard to get noticed. And Greenlight is too. So
But
that's
they
the
had to start. They had to start somewhere and get noticed somehow as well.
yeah,
So you know, I
exactly.
think maybe, like you were saying, maybe the PlayStation thing will pick up for you. You know, hopefully it
Exactly, yeah.
does. You know,
Yeah, on
and I can
Monday,
understand why you would do that. You know.
yeah, on Monday we'll get some PlayStation blog official PlayStation blog posts on the
Nice.
Brazilian and European one. So hopefully, it's like really running a marathon. It's not sprinting a race. It's really running on the long term. So maybe in the end they'll
Will the
notice.
game be coming to the Mac App Store? Will it be coming there?
Yeah, sure. I think so. Yeah, if
Do you
if
think
they're
you could maybe
okay.
get in touch with some of the bigger magazines and maybe get
Yeah,
some press
yeah,
releases that way for yourself? You know.
yeah, hopefully, yeah. But that's the thing, when people just notice you again when it's out, usually it's like a bit tricky because we all know so many excellent indie games that just started to be known when they were out, and then in the postmortem they say, "Hey, we did an awesome game. Everybody loves it, but we just started talking about it when it was out, and so we didn't have enough sell to do an next one. So I'm going back to working at McDonald's," and that's really what I'm scared. Seriously, as starting a company, we all love doing video games. As I said, we're living on our savings and making huge sacrifice, and we did apparently an awesome game, so it's good. Well, not awesome, but a few really good ones. So now we're just scared of being one of these good games that just didn't meet its public. So that's the thing. When you start an indie company, you have to learn the marketing and the PR, and it's not really easy.
Well, you guys doing all the right things, you know. From what I've seen, you've made it available across multiple platforms, you know, and it
Yeah,
seems like you're trying to trying to take into consideration everybody's considerations of what it should be, you know.
Core
So-
of our
I had a
yeah.
question about that. What, if you can answer anyway, what engine are you actually using to develop the
Homemade.
game? So
It's-
your homemade engine is supporting like every console and every computer platform.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is that we got the HydraVision console, HydraVision homemade engine
Mm,
was already available for working on PlayStation 3
right.
and Xbox and PC. So we PC and PS3 is good. Maybe Vita. Many players are asking about the Vita, so we'll have to look at it. But yes, after we have
I have a Vita myself. I definitely think it has a very good platformers, particularly play very nicely on the bus. So definitely think about that.
So yeah,
Same with iOS as well. I think it could be
Yeah.
well implemented into iOS as well, you know. So,
yeah,
like you're saying, like you make your game available on as many platforms as you can, and it should do the rest by itself, you know.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah. That's the plan. We're just putting into the core of our action is putting the gamers, and so gamers on as many platforms as possible, and also we like having the game. I think in 19 different languages. So this way, people just Russian people, Turkish people, they just don't have to play the game in English.
Mm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. We hope all of this small detail will pay in the end.
It will. Bit of patience.
Yeah, that's yeah.
So how
Maybe
far away is it from being done then?
I'd say a couple of months,
A
something
couple of
like
months.
that.
So that'll still be a
talk-
very quick turnaround for you then, you know.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
started the game in March, was it? You said, well, you started the studio in March, so
Yeah,
pre-development.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the development was already like halfway.
Oh right.
Back in March. All in all, I think there would be like 10 to 12 months production of finishing this game. So yeah, it should be out this summer on PC and PS3. We're not announcing any dates now because we just, when you start doing QA and testing, you can have a nasty bug that just keeps you debugging for a whole week, or maybe just everything goes smoothly. Just bit of the lottery. So
And we can expect a Mac port a couple of months afterwards. Were you saying?
yeah, next year.
Next year.
Really,
Right.
yeah. Sorry about that. That's because the engine is not Mac yet. So for this first game, it's going to be a long wait. But then
So will you be using a wrapper, or are you going to be building it natively into your engine, Mac support?
into the engine, yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully that'll perform better than a wrapper then. So.
Yeah. That's the for this game it's going to be a little bit long, but next game, hopefully once the work is done, it's done. So next game should have simultaneous release on PC, Mac, and Linux. That's the aim in the long term.
Cool. Good. It's good to see people doing that. Because a lot of people at Res were using Linux, and they were just going to use the Linux as the back end and just push the game out across that. So it's good to see somebody using their own engine and building it natively into their engine rather than using something like Linux to build it in to the back end. Yeah,
it's a lot of work at the beginning, but it pays on the long term.
You'll get better performance in the end, and it'll show, So, and people like us will appreciate that. So, we might not make you millions of dollars, but we'll appreciate the effort nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. Any questions?
I did have one more, or maybe this will lead into a few questions. You yourself as a gamer, what kind of games do you like, to play, or
Well, yeah, that's always a tough question, but of course I like platformers. So as I said, Rayman Origins was really, really good. I'm really looking forward for the sequel. I'm playing a bit of everything, to be honest. I'm having like Thomas Was Alone installed. Walking Dead, the game was just awesome. I've finished Tomb Raider. I played a lot of the latest Tropico games, so yeah, that's really a bit of everything. Well, now I'm lacking a bit of time with with the company and the end of the game, but hopefully in September with GTA coming up, it's gonna be good.
Oh, absolutely.
Next gen consoles, exciting times too.
Yeah, okay, that led me to my next question is, you're a small indie studio, self-funding a game, is 2D puzzle platformers a game you're actually, or a genre you're really passionate and inspired about personally, or is it also somewhat because as an indie studio launching your first game, you need to make a smaller game that's more manageable, and that genre is like a good place to start?
No, that's because we like that. I'm pretty sure the next project is going to be a platformer too. We just like really like that. So maybe it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not going to be a sequel because we want to do really something else. We have many ideas. We haven't decided yet on what it is going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a platformer, or at least using the platformer mechanics. We're not going into a racing game or whatever else. If we do like 1 million sell, we're not going to say, okay, let's do a AAA on our own. That's not true. We're just going to what we. If we started this company, I mean, it's really like when you start an indie company, it's about making things you like to do, really. Because as I said, we're doing a lot of sacrifice. So if in the morning you're not willing to do what you have to do in the day, then it's not worth it, really.
Right.
So having not a boss, that's about doing what you like, and what we like is doing platformers. So I think we're going to stick to it. It's not about I think we can have a return on investment of that percent, blah blah blah. No. That's just because we like that.
Right, of course. So that's part of why you are indie in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you care about different things.
Yeah, exactly. We don't care about having stakeholders or dividends in the end of the year. If we can be paid for what we do, this is just awesome. just saying it. I think the first day when we are going to pay ourselves with the money we got from the game, it's gonna feel so incredible. Like we actually earned that money from ourselves.
Nice.
It's gonna be so amazing. So we know that video game industry is really a tough one. You as a gamer, you see it every 5 years. There's like this studio you loved so much that just closed down. If I ask you to name a studio that lasts for more than 10 years, I'm pretty sure 98% of them are owned by Sony or Microsoft or something. So if we can, I think like for us, our objective is about maybe if we do 3 games as a company, as an indie company, we are just going to feel like successful, like we did something right, and then now we can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I really enjoy your positive attitude. I think your attitude as an indie developer is really what's driving this this kind of indie revolution where indie games are really taking off, because us as gamers, we like to feel appreciated, like we're not just a number. And I think people with your attitude towards the games and the passion, I don't know, it's a nice feeling for us as a gamer to know that you guys care and you're not just pumping out the next and the next and the next and worrying about dollar signs.
Yeah, it's about gamers making video games, right? So,
yeah. So I just wanted to say thank you and appreciate that, because it's very nice to hear.
Well, you're welcome. We're here for you.
I agree with that, because this can easily go into a much larger topic, so I'll just go in it shortly. But we have so many games, or studios who have bosses. You see like Activision, EA. Gamers aren't running the company. It's some guy in a suit who seems to make a lot of decisions that like aren't in the interest of gamers, or the players or the customers are like, what are you doing? Like, this is ridiculous. And I don't need to go into details of that, but you just see that effect. It gets a lot of negative reactions instead of positive reactions, and creates a lot of quote unquote haters. So a lot of it valid, some of it not, but yeah, unnecessary tension or drama. Like, we're all here to play video games. Like, why is this happening, right? So when you have people like you with this kind of attitude, it really, really does promote the platform, the community, the whole activity in itself of gaming. Like, gamers making games, that's what it should be all about, everywhere in the industry. Unfortunately, it's not necessarily true. I mean, it is in a lot of places, but I just basically wanted to agree and second what Adrian said. Like, it's really nice to hear, and it's inspiring to see from you.
Cool. Please vote for us on green light.
Yeah, green light. Green light, green light, green light. Ethan Meteor Hunter. 50 levels, 3 different worlds. What more do you want? Lots of physics. No.
Yes.
You get to play as a rat,
The rat
cool.
does he have boxing gloves on? Because if he does, I don't know. I'm totally sold on whatever he's wearing.
There's maybe.
I'm gonna cosplay that.
I want to see that.
Nice.
When I go to Eurogamer, I'm gonna go as Ethan.
Nice.
No, thank you for taking the time, Olivier, to come on to the show and talk to us. It was a fantastic episode, a lot of fun, excellent discussion. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me on board. Please, anyone, if you have any question, just send us an email, tweet us, maybe Facebook us. I don't know if it's a thing, but just get in touch. If we usually answer everybody, well, at the moment we don't have so many emails, so Well, if you have a question or just saying, hey, I just want that in the game, buy, then say, okay, sure. Please don't hesitate. We'd love to hear from you.
That's at Seaven Studio as well, guys, on Twitter as well. That's SEAVEN Studio. So
yes,
I'll make sure to get those links in the post when.
Yeah, no problems.
These are published.
Don't forget green light, green light, green light. Let's get these guys on Steam. You know.
Thank you very much.
Merci.
You.
Okay. Merci beaucoup.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care. For more podcasts, Mac Gaming discussion and community interaction, visit www.macgamecast.com. Follow us on Twitter at MacGameCast and find us on Facebook at MacGamesCast. And don't forget our video channel on YouTube at MacGameCast Video. Thanks for listening and see you next time.